What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another stream. We in here. I'm just going to make sure that everything is working like it's supposed to be. Let me make sure that I'm popping up. Let me know if you can't hear anything, if something's wrong with the mic or anything like that. We should be good. I'm going to double check on my phone just to make sure we are rocking and rolling before I get going here. All right, I heard it, so we're good there. Okay. If we have any issues or anything, let me know. Hopefully things are rolling good. I think we should be fine, but we shall see. It looks like I'm getting some drop frames. But so far it's saying that the connection is excellent, but we shall see. All right, as you can see from the title of the stream, we are going to be going into a short film here that I think I talked about it last time actually on the stream. I shot and directed this short film, so we're going to be diving in. Yeah, it looks like we're starting to freeze up here a little bit. If it gets really bad, I might have to try to adjust some things here. Let's see. Let's go ahead and hop on over to DaVinci Resolve, and let me switch this on over. All right, cool. Okay, hopefully we're rocking good. Everything's going fine. Let me just check one thing real quick. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rocking and rolling. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the chat. I will be glad to answer questions. I will have like a Q&A section basically in the stream. So I may not hop onto them right away. Or if you have a question that's easy to answer, then I will answer it. But I'm going to try to stay on topic. And then, like I said, I will have a dedicated portion of the stream that is for answering, whatever questions you may have. I'm trying to get my comments pulled up here so I can see things. I don't know what's going on with my phone. Why it's not letting me view it. That is very weird. All right, let's see. Let's switch accounts here because I was able to watch it. Okay, here we go. All right, so I can see the chat now. All right, perfect. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, if it's too choppy, let me know, and I will probably do I might have to stop the stream and restart it. But I'm trying to hopefully we'll be good. But yeah, if it's very choppy, please let me know in the comments. Okay, so to start off, let's go ahead. I have some more footage I need to pull in, but I'm going to start trying to cut one of these scenes here. Let me see. Like I said, this is a project I shot last year over the summertime. So it's been a while getting into this. I've had a lot of things come up, but we were finally getting to it. I need to bring in. All right, so let's just start off by bringing in some footage. So, I feel like I do this all the time, but it seems to be one of those things that people want to know about quite often is how to import footage into DaVinci Resolve. So my favorite way to import footage into DaVinci Resolve is to just go to Finder, File Explorer if you're on PC, and literally just go to where I know that is for me, what a project is. So I'll come in here, right here, and there it is, Humanities, Pilot. This is the pilot episode technically. So I had the first 2 days that are already in there, and I have 2 more days, day 3 and day 4, that need to come in. So all I gotta do, this is why I like doing this, because to me it's the simplest way of doing it. I just highlight what I want, click it, and drag it over, And don't drop it into your media pool, like into the bin by itself, because it's going to scatter all your stuff all over the place like this. And, you don't want that, because if you had everything nice and organized, now it's not. So you don't know what day is what. And actually, I put it into the wrong section anyway. Let me do it like this. So you see how I have everything organized nice? I have my BTS footage, day 1 of shooting, day 2 of shooting. If I go back here, I have day 3 and day 4 highlighted, and I just drop them in there. It just basically just dumps everything, and I don't know why it does that. It to me, it doesn't really make that much sense that it does that, but there is a workaround that you can do, and all you have to do is drag it over to on the left panel here. So you make sure that that is clicked open, so that way that window pops up, and where you see master, this is like the main media pool bin. You hit the drop down arrow, then you have BTS. It shows you any more folders you have in there. Day 1, day 2, yada yada yada. So I'm gonna go back, grab these, put them here, and now I have day 3 and day 4 in their proper place as well. So now, I don't know. Oh, I just have to send now. That's why. So now I can go over here and say, okay, yep, I got my camera. It's got all my footage. So we're good to go. So I can start using that stuff and get it all organized and lined up as well into the project. Let me see. I need to get the audio in. I'm pretty sure I have that already. Okay, yeah. Audio, day 1 and day 2. Then I pull in audio for day... Oh, I think because I didn't have... That's right. Those don't really have audio. I don't think... Yeah, now I'm trying to remember now. But the thing is, some of these other parts we don't have audio because it was just me acting in it, and there wasn't anyone else. I'm going to have to double check that. But we're not going to get to those parts of it anyway, so that's fine. All right, cool. So now that's in there. Another way to do it, you can, if you come down to the bottom here, you have all your different pages, and you select media. You can do it here too, and it'll kind of like, this page is made, I guess, to help you, like, it's to help you like organize your stuff without having to see your timeline and everything. So you can have this nice big media pool to look at versus it just being that little square box on the other side. And but if you don't want to click and drag, which I say is my favorite, I just think it's faster. You can still import footage into DaVinci Resolve by coming to the media pool. By coming to the media page, and then you can click on your different. It lists all the different storage devices you have. So I know that that's on this my SSD that I have, IBZ SSD, and I can see all my files right here. It shows me everything, so I can click through this way if you want to do it, and then I go to humanities, I go to the pilot, and I go to footage, and everything is right here. Like I pulled it up in Finder, and then you would do the same thing. Essentially, you would just grab, like let's say I want to put this test footage in. I would just grab it down here. The same thing though, I just realized you have to go to the map. You have to go to the side panel first, which I really don't understand why. That to me is a slight design flaw for DaVinci Resolve, but they do have a workaround. Don't drag it directly into the media pool. Come over to the panel on the side and make sure that you're under master. And then now you're good to go. So now it'll show up here in its folder. So now when I come back to the edit tab, it's here. So, that's 2 ways of importing footage into DaVinci Resolve. If you rather do it that way, I like this page because if you're going to organize things here, you could, like, I can say, all right, all of these are exterior shots, and I want these shots to be a certain color, so I can select all of these. I hit shift click, and then I can go to clip color. I can change the color. So I want to make all those shots pink or something. Then I go back to my edit page. And then whenever I pull in any of those shots that I just, that was in day 4, if I pull those shots in, you'll see that they are pink. So stuff like that you can do. You don't have to do that, but I think that I like the fact that they have just this media page because it allows you to be able to, have a place where you can more easily organize things. And I could set up folders on this page. I can make more bins and really lock in on it and, do it all here. So it's a nice, big canvas to work with. Instead of trying to do that, remove that bin. Instead of trying to do that here, what you can 100% do it, and most of the time I do. Honestly, I barely go to the media page because you can, it's like enough space for me. But they give you options. There's nothing wrong with options. All right, so we got those in. I'm gonna start cutting. It's not the beginning of the film. So I got all my different. So the way I like to break things up, I have a lot of different ways of doing it, but I have day 1. I just went, okay, so this was the first day of shooting. You don't have to do it this way, but this is how I did it if you're organizing your footage. So I have a bin essentially that says day 1. And I could have some notes that tell me these are the scenes that happen on day 1. Or I can just look into because I've already organized it. So I can just come over here to day 1, to the bin that says day 1, and I can see all the scenes listed. So now when I'm referring to my script, which I should have pulled up here, but I might do that on the next one while I actually pull the script up as well. I might do it on this one. We'll see. But anyway, I can refer to my script, which is a shooting script. So I have the scenes laid out. So when I'm there, I know all this because I was a part of I had a writer, but I was a part of the writing process, and I came up with the story. So I know everything that happened. I directed it. I acted it in it. So I know the story. But assuming you didn't, and you were just, someone who was hired as an editor for a film you had no prior information on, these are things that you could do to help yourself be able to move quickly. So you can say, okay, day 1, scene 5, scene 18, scene 23. And these 2 scenes were so pretty much the same. That's why I put them together. But this is scene 23 and 25. They basically are the same. It's just that there's a break in between them. So that's why I labeled them slightly different. But I just dumped everything into there. So I can quickly move around. Okay, I'm trying to slow down. So I could quickly move around when I'm editing, and I can say, oh yeah, let me pull the shot from scene 23. And I know I can come to this folder and look in and see it. Within the ones that I haven't done this everywhere yet, but if you go to scene 5, you can see I've even organized it even further. I took it a step further with my organization, and I didn't just say these are all the shots that were done for scene 23 and 25 or scene 18 like I did here. I said scene 5, and for each setup we did, I also made a folder or a bin. So the actor that said this is me, so I'm Zell, and then you have my actor here, Leah Martin is her name, and I basically just labeled it for us. So I was like, okay, this is Leah's close-ups. So I took her shots for all those takes, and you can see here we had a slate. So let me go to it. Go back. Where's it at? Oh, I was moving the wrong thing. So this was scene 5A, take 1. Scene 5A was, based on my shot list that I made, was close up on Leah. So, I knew that going into it when we were shooting it. So now I could call it scene 5A, take 1. I could do that if I had my shot list here referring to it. And that's probably how you really would do it if you're working, in a professional capacity and you're now also the director and the editor. I know what's what, so I'm really making it for me because I'm the only one who's going to be touching this project. I know that. I could very well just go in and call this scene 5A takes and then go from there. But I know I wanted to be able to look at it quicker, more visual, so I could say Leah close up. I didn't, because then I would have to think, okay, what was scene 5A take one, and let me check my shot list to see. I'm just skipping that. I'm just skipping that part. So again, there's no true right or wrong, but if you're working with other people, you might just want to keep it, unless you guys establish a language and you're working with other editors in this post process or whatever. Keep it to whatever the shot was on the shot list, just to be, or on the shot list, or on the what's the thing called, the storyboard, something like that, just so everyone's on the same page and it's consistent. So but like I said, hopefully this makes sense. But you can kind of play with it however you want to do it if you're the only one editing. But it's a good practice to still have some sort of system in place. But anyway, scene 5. This one, Leah, all of Leah's shots was scene 5A, 5A, take 1. I think we did 3 takes, take 1, 2, and 3. I also put the her audio for those takes in there as well, and those weren't labeled, but they kind of line up a little bit. But again, if you're taking notes, you have someone who's like a script supervisor, you have notes to refer to, and things like that. Again, I was a little loose with this, but that's because I'm also editing. If I was only directing this, I would have been a lot more organized on set, because I wouldn't want to dump that on an editor. But like I said, I'm directing and editing. So, but that's why I'm also trying to explain the process to you guys as well, so that way, you don't carry bad habits or anything. Like I said, most times if you're the editor, the stuff is you already know what it is anyway. Like someone's already telling you, yeah, these are these shots and things like that. So then what I do from that place, you see 3 shots in here, but there's also a sequence. So I'm gonna move here so you can see it a little bit better from like the visual standpoint. You have 3 shots because we only had 3 takes in that setup within that scene 5A, take 1. That shot, that particular setup we did 3 takes of that, so that everything lines up. 3 takes, 3 video clips, 3 audio tracks. You can sync them up and everything. I made a sequence that says scene 5, Leah close up, and I know that that's that setup. So I made this sequence basically a setup, and if you click on it, it's already down here too. So scene 5, Leah close up. So basically I took, and I have to sync up her audio still, but I basically took all of her takes and I lined them out. So I know this is 1, 2, 3. I like to just set things up visually for myself, and I made her, I picked a color for hers to be, so when everything's on a timeline and I'm cutting everything together, I can visually see what I'm doing. And as I'm editing, I will know Leah, her close-ups or her takes are orange, and my takes, my shots are a different color, whatever that color. Did I pick one? Yeah, I did, like yellow. Yeah, okay. So that's scene 5. Now, here's the thing. All of that happens in scene 5, so that's why I have that one folder that says scene 5. So I know when I come here, everything that is scene 5 related is right here. I got all of that. So this could be scene 5A takes. This is probably scene 5B, probably. Oh, C. Scene 5C takes. The 2 shot might be the 5B. 5D, okay. Is that close up? 5XA, so we skipped B. What was B? This is C. I must have skipped B for some reason. I don't remember why now. But anyways, this is really it's not a big deal. I was just trying to find it. It's not a make or break. Everything is here, and I know there wasn't another. I know I'm not missing any shots, but that's one thing to check for. You could double check. Say, am I missing something? I don't know why I skipped 5B, but I had some reason for skipping that number. But I know that this is correct. I know I'm not missing anything. But yeah. So, anyways, that's some of the organization type stuff that you can do, and you can have your own setup. Even viewing things, you can kind of click on here within here if you want to see a list view, or you want to see the thumbnail view. This is normally where I have it at. I think this is the default within the DaVinci Resolve. And then this one just gives you more metadata info. So you can quickly look at this and see some things like the date and things like that. I feel like they should give you more metadata than just that. But if you want to see Eclipse metadata, if you just right click on it and go to, how does this one do it? Reveal clip attributes. There's another way to do this. Timecode name to see metadata. Am I doing it the wrong spot? Okay, yeah, there's a tab. Yes, that's how you do it. There's a tab on the right side that actually says the metadata. So when this clip is selected, it will show you the metadata. So you can see the frame rate. You can see, the file type, it's just H.265. You can see that it's, 3840 by 2160, so UHD. The audio stuff like that. The bit depth, progressive, it just gives you all the information about this clip, which is cool, which is actually very cool that you can do that. Okay, moving on. Let me check the comments really quick. Quiverful Productions, good evening, good sir. Sorry I missed your call, bro. I realized that I texted you, so I'll hit you up after I'm done with the stream. Sorry about that. But yeah, so if you want to see, let me give a quick little shout out to my mans in the chat, Quiverful Productions. If you want to see some cool interviews, if you're into, it's all good, bro. If you want to see some interviews if you're like a filmmaker and you're into short films or just filmmaking in general, and you want to see some interviews from people in the industry who are actually doing it at a high level, definitely check out my friend Quiverful Productions. He is in the chat. Check out his channel. He has some cool interviews up right now that he did with some members of the cast and crew from She Rides Shotgun. That was a movie. I think it came out last year. I'm pretty sure it came out last year. But yeah, he does good work. So definitely check him out. Let's see. Where am I at now? But yeah, so that's kind of the organization. This can change from project to project too, like based on what your needs are for that project and how many shots you have and things like that. Like I said, is more of a personal thing. Like, how everyone might take notes and everyone may have a journal, but the way you organize it is in a way that you understand it. That's how I view this. If you're going to be working with people, definitely have a standardized way of doing things, because you want to be able to make sure that people can follow behind you. But if you're like me and you usually edit all your own stuff by yourself, you can get away with this stuff. All right. So what I'm going to do now is make another timeline. And this is scene. I'm going to try something I haven't done. Usually when I edit, I tend to just make a full timeline for like the film, and I'll just start pulling things in. I think I've seen people do it where they will cut scenes and then pull them in. I tend to just start pulling stuff in, and I'll start dropping it in place, and I'll kind of bounce around like that. You can definitely do it that way. Again, it's more of what works best for you. I'm actually going to try it out the way that I've seen other people do it, which I'm going to put another sequence in here. Actually, all I'm going to do is, because this has the right settings I want, all I'm going to do is duplicate this timeline and then rename it. And then, because I'm doing that because it already has the settings I want. So it's going to save me time from having to go in here, create a whole new timeline and make sure all the settings are right. So this is just how I work, and it helps me move faster. So I'm going to just hit duplicate timeline, because I know all these shots, the way it's set up is how I want it to be. And if you change something later, it's not a big deal. You can always change stuff. I got a typo here. All right, so that it made a copy. It's a copy of this one. And I also suggest making copies when you edit. Duplicate your timelines in general as you are going along, because if you ever need to go back to something after you changed it, you can't if you don't make copies of your timeline, or at least copies of your project. Just a little pro tip, because I've made that mistake. And let me tell you, having to recut something that you cut already, and because you need to do something different, it's horrible. It's just a complete time waste. It's horrible. Rename timeline. So I'm just going to call this scene 5. How do I want to call it? I guess I can call it scene 5 assembly. That's probably what I'll do. I'll just do assembly edits. I probably won't try to edit scene by scene crazy in detail. So I'm going to go scene 5 dash assembly edit. And all the, what did he say? We got Quiver for pro tip number 1, make copies of your timelines. Yes, 100%. He's an editor too, so he also would know. Make copies of those timelines or sequences as they are called in DaVinci Resolve, but Premiere calls them timelines. So, you know, it's the same concept. Whether you're editing in Premiere or DaVinci Resolve, make copies of your sequences and your timelines. All right, so now I want it to be I don't want it to be in 2 shot. So I should have fixed this before, but it's not a big deal. I'm going to move this to scene 5, to the scene 5 folder. So let's go here. So now when I come to scene 5, I'm going to switch my view. I have the different setups. So Leah's close-ups, my over the shoulders, my close-up in the 2 shot. I also have my timelines right here. I did it too. My sequences right here. I'm trying to switch my brain. I edit it in Premiere Pro as well, so I sometimes have to do that little code switch real quick. But yeah, there's the scene 5 assembly. So what I'm gonna do now, I don't need any of this to be here because it was just for copies. I'm gonna delete that. Another thing for organization that I like to do that I do quite often when I'm editing documentaries, for sure. And I'm doing shorter things. I kind of skip over this, but definitely helps you in the long run when you're doing like feature films and things like that. Trust me on this one. I'll just label my audio tracks different things. So let's just say you can call it whatever you want. I mean, it depends on what type of editing you come from. Like I might, like in like my day job, what I do, we'll call it like SOTs and NATs, and they're just code names for, you know, there's words and names that's been around for years that I don't even really know that we still need all of these, but it's just what people have been doing for years in broadcast and stuff like that. So I think it just kind of carried over and people still do it. Narrative, I don't know if it's so much of a thing, but SOTs is just basically sound on tape. So we're just going to call that camera audio, but I'll just leave it as SOTs. And then NATs will just be, you know, natural sounds, things like that. The way I'm going to work with that is just natural, just like the sounds that were recorded with the external recorder. That stuff's going to go there because that's how it would go automatically anyway. And then underneath, I can add more tracks. So let me actually do, this is scene 5, right? Okay, yeah. This scene would start. And then this is almost like a tiered system. Like you have all your takes of your 2 shot. And then you can like say, okay, this is the one I like. I'll take this and pull over to scene 5. And then once scene 5 is done, you'll take scene 5 and pull it to your main timeline with the rest of the scenes, with the rest of the scenes in the film. Let me turn off this real quick because I have a film, not a film LUT, but it's a film plugin that is definitely power hungry. So it will not play, my computer will not play it at a high, it won't play at a high, you know, playback level.
Okay then, make sure to document everything in the coming week.
5DA.
I'm sorry, let me do that one more time.
All right, let's see what's this part.
Okay then, okay then.
5D, take 2.
Action.
You keep everything so tidy.
Okay, I think this was a take. I probably told myself in the video. But sometimes I don't help myself out. So I'm gonna just cut that part out and move it over. Something else you can, do I want to talk about that right now? What I like to do, instead of, because it depends on what you're doing. You can definitely make cuts and things, and then you can pull out chunks of a video and copy it. I used to do that all the time. The only reason why I have stopped doing this is because whenever I come back to something, there's all these cuts in my track now. And if I ever need to grab it again, I have to like kind of get in there and pay attention and listen to. It's not a big deal, but I'm all about speed and efficiency. I find every way to move faster as I can. If I think something's going to be a time waster, I try to get rid of it. So you see what I'm doing now. I don't even want to have to do all this stuff. So I like to just try to keep things as together as possible. So what I would do if I'm in truly editing, the take happen. All right, I guess I'm the director, so that's why you see me. I was the director on this project, so I was, calling action and stuff. This is what I would do. You basically edit with in and out points. So I would go hit I on my keyboard, and this works in Premiere as well. But hit I on my keyboard. I don't even want that part of it, so I'm just gonna go. After I say action, take a little beat. She does her thing.
You keep everything so tidy. Everything's in its place.
Okay, so I'm gonna grab that bit because I'm also kind of already 2 steps ahead of myself in editing with the other takes. So now I'm gonna go back to scene 5, and I don't like that it's over here. This bothers me. But this is the cool thing with the editing with DaVinci Resolve. You can and actually probably any editor, you can slide things over and arrange things how you want it. You got to make things work for your brain because you are the one that's editing. You want to make sure that you are helping yourself move as fast as possible. All right.
You keep everything so tidy. Everything's in its place.
Oh, but yeah, I didn't just really tell you what I just did there. I got only that section I wanted because I set my in and out point. And whenever you use in and out points, basically you're telling DaVinci Resolve, I want you to only copy what's inside these parameters. So I set in and out. Now when I hit copy, it'll copy the whole thing. Not the whole thing. It won't copy the whole thing. It will copy what is inside of my in and out point. Basically the parameters that I set around it. So when I come back over here, I paste just what I wanted copied. That was inside my in and out points. So I'm gonna delete that. I'm gonna go back with my in and out points set. I'm gonna highlight everything and show you. You gotta make sure that you're careful because if you're not paying attention, you can mess up. And now when I come to paste, I paste everything. So there's that. Then you got that. You can set your in and out points anywhere if you want to grab the next part of this.
Okay then, make sure to document everything in the coming week, and I'll make sure to check your progress.
So
I'm sorry, let me do that one more time.
that was a bad part of the take. I didn't call cut. I just kept rolling. So
I forgot a line.
she caught herself. I didn't have to say nothing.
Okay then, make sure to document everything in the coming week and call if there are any changes. I'll check in on your progress, but I think we've finally gotten you back on track.
And we stand up. And I'm not going to grab all of that because I do the rest of it in another shot. Go back to my assembly edit and paste. So I got those 2 parts right there. Cool. Let me turn this on. Got to do on it. So all I got to do really is instead of, how do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? My color grade, because it's going to be annoying having to turn things on and off like this. I just did that. I could just turn that off and work with that, but then I would have to put it on top. I could just make groups and do it later. I guess I could do it that way. Yeah, maybe I'll just do it that way. So I just gotta make sure I go in. The thing that's causing the problem is this, effect I have. It's a dehancer plugin, and basically it's really cool. I actually really like the plugin, but it gives you a bunch of film simulations. So this is the secret sauce for people who want to get that film look. This film look in quotes. I really don't like using those type of words because it's very subjective and it's not one size fits all. There's a lot of things that make up a filmic look. Really, and today all we're trying to do is copy the characteristics of film, and you want to use whatever tools you can use to help you achieve that. It's all fake because it's not real. When you were talking about film, it's like chemical reactions to the film, with the development process, light hitting it. It's so many different things that play a part in it. Lenses play a part in it. So there's so many different aspects. But I think we all kind of, the film grain, the texture, the imperfections is what we're trying to go after. We're trying to muddy up the image. And just buying a plugin does not mean you have now magically gotten the film look. You can just slap a plugin on, or you can just slap something on and, get something that looks nice, but you want to be able to really be methodical about it. You want to be strategic about it. And when I made the decision to do this, when I was working on this project and I was doing my pre-production treatment, I made the decision beforehand what I wanted this to look like. And I decided, I picked, I should probably show you guys all that stuff too, but I basically made myself a lookbook, and I picked images from films that I liked. And I was talking to my cinematographer, and before we had a cinematographer on board, I was sharing this stuff with my producer and my writer. Then when we locked in on our cinematographer, then I shared it with them as well. I shared it with her as well. But a lot of this look, it gets made in post, so I knew it was going to be on me to really achieve this also as a colorist, to achieve the look that I want, because we weren't going to be doing the look in camera. I was going to be doing it in post. So I knew that a lot of the heavy lifting of getting this look I wanted was going to be in post production. And basically, to sum all that up, I looked at these films that I liked, and I said, okay, what is it? I kind of already knew what they had in common, but essentially, you look at something you like and you find out how it was shot. Like I said, I already kind of knew what I was wanting, so I went into it looking for that. But I found the images, all of the things that I liked had in common was that they were shot with the Kodak Vision 3500T stock, which Kodak, is very popular film stock. There's a lot of different film stocks in here, so you can kind of just go through and click on stuff and, just kind of pick different things. You don't even have to use Dehancer as a plugin. They have other plugins out there. I like Dehancer, that's why I use it. But the DaVinci Resolve also has their film look creator in there as well. But I just really love being able to know specifically what I'm doing. I don't want to just throw film grain on something. I wanted my film to look like it was shot on this specific film stock. So before we started shooting, I went into it with that. I did test shots, and I used that look I created before we started shooting. So that's like pro tip. But we're not at that stage right now for the color grading aspect of it, but stay tuned. We will get there eventually. But anyways, that plugin is cool, but it's very power hungry. So I have to turn it off, or else I won't be able to watch this stuff back in real time. All right, let's check these comments. Hey, we got a comment here from, is it Nichols? Media Press. I remember you popping up on one of my streams before. What's going on? Glad to have you back. But yeah, we're basically out here every week. I'm sticking with it. The goal is every Saturday evening to stream for about an hour and a half, maybe longer. I want to start streaming more. So I'm trying to get my schedule up some more so I can do more streaming, because I'm actually really liking it, and it seems to be the stuff that people who are subscribed here actually like to see, this kind of stuff. Okay, but anyways, long way to say I need to turn that off so I can play this.
Everything's so tidy.
Another thing I want to show you guys. So DaVinci Resolve, a lot of times, okay, so if you look over here on the side, we have, you see where this number 2 is right here? That means that it's stereo. Stereo is fine for like music tracks, sound effects. The problem with audio, you gotta be careful when it, not audio, I'm sorry. You have to be careful when it comes to dialogue when you're using it though. Because, how do I want to say this? I don't even know if you guys can tell because I'm not sure how this is popping on OBS. But for me, this is only showing, I can only hear this on the left side of my speaker.
Tidy.
And let me pull up my mixer over here. Let me actually, yeah, here we go. So you guys can see this. Okay. Track 2 is where you're going to see.
Tidy. Everything's in its place.
So, okay, yeah. If you look, it's there's 2. It might be hard to tell, but there's 2 tracks of there's 2 like basically levels. It's only coming through on the left side. You can kind of see that. I didn't mean to do that. You can kind of see it over here too. Let me go to Fairlight. I feel like it's going to be easier for you guys to see what I'm trying to talk about.
Things in its place.
Yeah, Fairlight is the sound page if you want to do some more detailed sound editing and things like that. But if you look here, see where it says bus? It's only jumping on the left side, which is not what we want. We want it to come through 1. So the fix for that is to go mono, because, you know, it depends on how you record things, but we recorded it in a way that it would be mono, which is fine for dialogue. So what I'm going to do is make it to where I could do the whole fill left with right thing and all that stuff, but the easiest way to do it for DaVinci Resolve, which I'm so thankful that DaVinci Resolve does this, because this is something that annoys the crap out of me when I'm doing it in Premiere. You got to make sure your channels, your audio tracks are set up right beforehand, because if they're not, it just gets annoying. So, but I love the fact that in DaVinci Resolve, you can change it at any point. So all I do is I right click and I go, you have all these different options. You can change track colors and all those things. I'm going to go to change track type to mono. Now, if you listen to it,
keep everything so tidy.
In my speakers, and probably in your ears too, is coming through. Let me actually raise the levels a little bit.
You keep everything so tidy.
It's coming through as one thing. So it's basically filling left and right now. And they're basically mono. They're not separate, doing their own thing. I'll go back to Fairlight. And I say I have a question here, so I'm gonna check that in a second.
You keep everything so tidy.
Now it's not just coming in. If you look at the bus over here, it's not coming in just one side. It's coming in left and right now. So that's why I like to do that. Do you use Fairlight often? No, I do not actually use Fairlight often. I barely ever use it. Eventually, I would love to. The thing with DaVinci Resolve is it's like it has literally everything in one thing. Like with Premiere Pro, so with Adobe, each one of these pages would basically be its own program, which I'm not knocking it for that. You know, it is what it is. I'm not saying that that's worse or better. I do give DaVinci Resolve a plus for that, in fairness, because I think it's cool that everything is in one thing. But basically, each one of these is like some professional person's job. There's the Fusion for VFX artists, which that is a whole job outside of being an editor. Then you have the color page, which is for colorists, which is a whole thing outside of being just an editor too. And then you also have Fairlight, where you can come in and do some audio editing and audio engineer stuff, which I am not an audio person in any way. So one day I would love to get into it more, but that's not my strong suit. So that's why I stick to the edit page and the color page. And next, I in my last stream, we were talking about Fusion, and I was seeing if anyone would be interested, but I am new. I'm a newbie in Fusion as well. So I was thinking about doing a series where we can learn together, actually, where I would just start like streaming myself practicing in Fusion and learning it, and you guys will come along for the ride if you're down for it. And actually just we can like basically learn together, because I'm not well versed in Fusion. I can do a little bit. Like I get the concept of how to do things, but I'm not well versed in it. So yeah, long way to answer your question that no, I do not use Fairlight often. Um, but if I need to do something specific, I'll find a tutorial and I was like, oh, I need to do this because with DaVinci Resolve, you can add effects to a track, which is pretty cool. Like there's how did I do that? There's a way to basically I added like I had people talking on a phone in a scene I did one time, and I was able to basically put it on that track, and everything that I wanted to have that effect, all I had to do, here it is, reverb. So yeah, you can come here and manipulate things with EQ and stuff, pitching, reverb, and all that different stuff. So it's kind of cool because if you do it to that track, then everything you pull, every piece of audio that you put into that track will have that effect on it. So I thought that was pretty cool. Let me see. Might as well play around with it since we're here. Modulation. I'm gonna just throw some reverb on it, and we'll just hit reverb, and let's just make it sound like it's, I don't know. We'll make it sound like it's in a small theater. Okay. You can hit escape too to exit out, or you can hit the X button. I'm not escape, and you hit the X button. That's how you did. Oh, wrong page. That's why I wasn't doing it there. So now check this out. You can see it here. It has an effect, and it says FX right here. So this track has been affected. So listen to this.
Everything's so tidy. Everything's in its place.
So you can hear that. But now if I go down to, if I make a new track, and if you want to make a new track in DaVinci Resolve, it's actually super simple. You don't even have, you can come over here and hit add tracks, or add multiple tracks and all that stuff, and tell it how many tracks you want to add and where you want to put it at, which is cool if you want to do a bunch of tracks at one time. But you also could just click on an audio track and then hold down the Alt key and your down arrow and just go down one. That might be option if you're on Mac. I'm using a PC keyboard, so sometimes I try to remember the differences, but I'm using a PC keyboard and it's Alt up and down. So as I keep hitting down, it's adding more tracks. Super simple. So I like that actually, that it does that. But you also default in as stereo, so it's just something to be careful of and mindful of. But I did that to show you because now listen to this.
You keep everything so tidy. Everything's in its place.
That's how it's supposed to. That's normal. Put it back on audio track 2.
Everything's so tidy. Everything's in its place.
So I actually like that feature because you're not doing the effect to the audio clip itself. You're doing it to that whole, A2 audio track. So I think that's pretty cool. All right, let's check the comments. I think it's a good idea for beginners. I wouldn't be the target audience since I'm pretty familiar with Fusion. Okay, yeah, I got you. Cool. Yeah, no, I mean, that makes sense. If you already know Fusion, there's no need for you to watch that, but. All right. I'm going to change it. Oh, let me go back over here to Fairlight and take that effect off so I don't have to. Did I get rid of it? All right, I think I got rid of it. Let me go back and see.
Keep everything so tidy.
Okay, yeah, I muted it, but I'll look at that more later.
Everything's so tidy.
Okay, so we got that in there. Okay, so now we got that rolling. Something else I like to do, and I'll just show you this now, and I should have did it on the other page. Yeah, I will actually do another. Let me delete these. Just to kind of really show you how I would do this. There's so many ways you do it because I can also just affect the track too in Fairlight. I could do it that way. But how I typically work is I will throw a limiter on, and I'm gonna do that to boost my levels up. And all I do is I go over to the effects tab and I go to my favorites, and I have things I use a lot. It's like I have reverb, limiter, this Fusion white foreground thing that I use in videos. But I'm gonna just grab my limiter, drag and drop it over, and I'm just going to boost. Let me see how much I need to boost this by. Let me change this. I can actually hear it correctly, mono.
Okay.
Oh, also, why is it doing that? But I guess got that effect on still.
Okay then.
If you want to quickly bypass fusion effects or color effects that you have, in the top here above the player here, the viewer, you can click this button and it will basically bypass the effects you have. So, you know, you can, if something is thrown off your playback, you can quickly do that.
And make sure to document everything in the coming week, and I'll make sure to check your progress.
All right, so she's hovering around 20 and 15 dB.
Okay then. Make sure to document
That one was a little louder.
everything.
You want to have like your audio like, I say between like -10, -6-ish range. You kind of stack it, so you have your, that's a good range to have your dialogue, like to be between, like you want it to be kind of hitting that -6 range, but you don't want it to really go over that. Or we'll just use -5 here, since that's where DaVinci Resolve is stopping at. It's not really showing us -6. And then you want like your sound effects to be like around 18 to 15 dB, around that range. And then like music, you want like, you know, 25-ish. I guess 20. I usually hover it closer to like 25 dB. And then, you know, that's pretty much. I mean, it depends on. That's like a rule of thumb I use, but it's a case by case basis, because each track might play out a little bit differently. But you know, that's kind of like a good rule of thumb. You want your dialogue up so you can hear what they're saying. You don't want it to be covered up or muddied up by the music. You don't want your music too loud, you know. But again, that's a rule of thumb, because it depends on what's happening in the scene. You might want a sound effect more up front for something, but in terms of just standardizing things, you don't want anything hitting all the way up at 0 anyway, because you're blowing stuff out at that point. So nothing should really be going over there anyway. So come back over, let's go to the inspector, and this is how you can get to your effects. Click on inspector, and then I'm gonna go over to audio, and then I can see my, wait, hold on, what am I doing? Okay, click on your audio track. I did that wrong. Click on, highlight what you want, you know, to access in your inspector. Go over to effects, and I see a limiter here. If you see this little button here that says, like, it has 3 lines and 3 dots on it. You can click on that to open up your visual, you know, panel that they have here for audio. A lot of the audio things will have this. You can also just do it here. Either way. So I'm gonna say that I want it to give me an input gain of, let's say input gain of like 5, and then I'll put the ceiling at like -5. So I don't want it to go over that threshold. So it'll bump it up, but it won't go over -5. It'll basically cap it out right there.
Okay then. Make sure to document everything in the coming week.
If you look over here at the audio, you can see that it's not going over.
And I'll make sure to check your progress.
And it's like, I probably could raise it up a little bit more. So let's just put input gain at 10.
Okay then. Make sure to document everything in the coming week, and I'll make sure to check your progress.
So that helps a lot. I like to do that as like a base start, as like a starting place. But then you might have to come in and tweak some more. Oops, didn't mean to do that. But that's how I like to start anyway. And if I need to raise a piece of audio more, I'll go in and start finessing it even more than that. But at least I can hear it, and then I'll go back through and do more detailed work on the track itself. You can also increase your volume, but if you start messing with your volume here, it'll basically bypass your effect that you have on, so it will go over.
Everything's so tidy.
So let me show you.
tidy.
Actually, no, to that bad. It's actually working now.
So tidy.
I need to look into that. All right, because before I've tried this and I've had it respond to me differently. So that's an interesting thing that we've noticed here. It's not going over -5 now. I wonder if they fixed it. I wonder if it was an issue. There was a workaround I had to do, but I'm not having to do it. So I wonder if they updated it and fixed it.
Everything's so tidy.
All right. Well, anyways, if I need to go and do things more, I can come in here and I can actually raise the audio this way as well. And sometimes if something is too low, what you can do
You keep everything so.
is you can look at it to see if it's like too low.
You keep everything
So I'm like, that part was low, but then this part might be loud enough.
tidy.
Yeah, that was loud enough. So you can kind of come in and like you can come in and actually like use keyframes and like basically you can like make marks and like raise up certain areas of it and create like hills and valleys basically in your audio and fix things that way as well. So I did like an alt click there and one here, and then that section, that section is going up. Yeah, there we go. So just this bit in the middle is going up, and I raised that up by 5 dB.
You keep everything.
So you can kind of just start, I guess, painting with your audio a little bit, and that's a way to, you might have to do that in certain spots, and some I have to do a lot when I'm editing for professional projects. Yes, this is a personal project. This is something that I shot. I always say shot, but I didn't shoot it because I'm acting in it. I directed it. I was one of the producers on it. It was a story called Humanities that I had. And had a friend of mine help me with the script. He was the lead writer on it. I basically, told him what I was looking for. I had the whole story already mapped out, and I basically outlined it. And then he went through and filled it up with specifics and dialogue and all those things. So shout out to Trey Foster, super talented writer. Shout out to Mojo Toll, who was my producer. I've mentioned them both on the channel before, but yeah, they definitely helped me out a lot with this project. Like I said, I was directing it, acting in it. I'm also editing the project now, so I hit all 4. I guess you can count producing. So I hit all 4 of them. I just wanted to do it for fun. This is technically the pilot. I had a whole season planned out. Some things have changed in my life as far as professionally and some other things I'm working on. So I don't know that I will come back to this project and complete it in its entirety. I am going to complete this pilot project because I want to get it out there because we shot it and everybody put a lot of work into this project. So I want to get this one done. But I might condense it. If it's going to be, I think I was going to have a first season that's going to have like 6 episodes and stuff. I think I'm not going to go as far into that. Like I said, I got some other things I'm working on now that I'm, excited about. So I'm going to be putting more focus onto those, but we're going to finish this one. But yeah, so why did I do that? Oh, I wanted to get the audio prepped. So that way now when I bring it over, I'm not having to fix the audio every few seconds. Like I said, I'm still going to have to do some fine tuning. I'd like to do broad strokes. It's just, I say this all the time when I'm doing color grading or anything. I like to do as much in if you think about it like painting, I like to hit as much of whatever the issue is with one stroke as I can. And I know I also have to go through and do some touch up things, but I'd rather do it that way and get a bulk of it finished, drop it in. So now when I'm going back through, it's just about fine tuning where I need to fine tune. And I'm not having to do that the whole time, which would be extremely annoying. Oh yeah, let me go ahead and do this now too. Turn off this effect that's causing all the stuttering. My color graded effect.
You keep everything so tidy. Everything's in its place.
Oh.
Tidy.
Anyways, that's fine. I did it on this one.
Everything's in its place.
All right, so I got that there. Let me grab Okay, we're running out of time here. I'm gonna grab another. Let me get rid of this. It's throwing me off. Let me see.
You keep everything.
That's not how it's supposed to start. Dude, this is not the first scene of the project. I'm just not starting with the. This is scene 5, but this isn't the way it's going to start.
You keep everything so tidy. Everything's.
Let me go back to where I said action at. Action.
You keep everything so tidy. Everything's in its place.
We were in the middle of a conversation essentially, so this is going to get kind of finessed in when it's with the rest of the. It'll make more sense. Like this narration that's taking place, and then like it'll like there's all this other stuff that happens before this, and then it'll lead in. Like you'll hear, you won't see this first. You'll hear this, and then there'll be like B-roll that's happening over top, and then it fades into it. That's why it looks a little janky right now.
You keep everything so tidy.
It'll be like a J cut. So imagine something like this. Something's happening, yada yada yada. Actually, let me cut this down because actually this is where I need to start. It's coming back to me now. It's coming back to me.
You keep everything so. You keep everything so tidy. Everything's in its place.
Something like that, you know. Something like that will happen. But anyways, get that there. Let me go ahead and grab everything's so tight, everything's in this place. And then we want to go over to, what does she say next? This is why I should have the script pulled up. Next time I will have the script pulled up.
Everything's in its place.
All right, next one.
Okay. Okay then, make sure to document everything in the.
Okay, that's odd, right? It's funny when you're editing things. It's like, what the heck was that? What was I doing? Like I haven't touched this project in a while, so I'm also trying to remind myself. That's why I should have the script pulled up.
Only.
I was like, what? I'm like, who's me body? I like that was a
Me.
Or can try to, yeah.
Oh, me body.
Can you see the iPad?
No.
Oh, that's
I'm just get your chair forward a little bit.
Had a whole awesome group of people helping me on this.
Oh, push it to the right just a little bit more. Now I can. Right there. Yeah.
It's like I did a lot. I'm doing a lot on this, but there's a lot of other people who helped pull the scene together. So.
You're not.
You need it.
Okay, I'm good.
It was such a weird experience too. I never directly enacted it. It's not 100% true, but like seriously, like in this type of situation, acting and directing
Has the new routine.
is tricky. Oh, final set. All right.
So, has the new routine been beneficial?
Yeah, it's definitely helped me focus. Here we go. Yeah, there's a lot more. I didn't have. So yeah, everything here. You hear everything's so tight. Everything's in this place. That doesn't all happen in that one shot. That's why.
Has the new routine.
Oh, final set.
So, has the new routine been beneficial?
Yeah, it's definitely helped me focus. It's been easier to work and all. So let's see. Listen to that for a little bit. Let me find the correct track. Let me also go ahead and throw this limiter on. Let me do it like this. One way I'm gonna do this quickly to help myself out. Input. Let's go ahead and do. We'll do 10. Oh, duh. I don't. The reason why I can't hear it is because I don't have the audio synced to this. All right, so let's go ahead and do that now. I was like, I cannot hear this, but the proper audio isn't synced. What is this? Scene 5 OTS. All right, here we go. Yeah. So this is the first take. So I'm gonna grab this, drag it down. I'm gonna sync audio, highlight everything, right click, auto align clips by waveform, and we hit sync. Boom. That is one thing that DaVinci Resolve does so much faster than Premiere. My Premiere users out there, you know. If you know, you know. It does not go that fast. It's really been helping. Let's go ahead and convert my track to mono. Now let's go ahead now and go to my effects, favorites, grab the limiter tool here with a limiter effect. And I'm gonna just say an input of 10. And then my ceiling will be at -5. And then you hit escape to leave it. Now listen back. I've my action.
You're not in the shot.
You think I need this thing?
There we go. Yeah, those affirmations have really been helping. Take a deep breath. Focus on. I had to get myself in the mode. Like my first couple of takes were rough because I also was like having so much like producing. It was just so much going on before this that I really did not have that much time to prep my my lines. So I'm glad it was just the two of us, because I was like, man, if I had to do way more complex scenes, this would have been, I'd have been the one dragging down the down the cast because I was not as prepared as I should have been. But it's all good. We got it done, and I'm gonna fix it in post. There were so many times when we were editing, people were like, "Oh, do you want to do this? You want to do that to fix that? You want to do this?" I was like, "Nah, I'll fix it in post." And they were like, "Are you cure?" And that just kind of became the joke of the day for me. I was like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll fix it in post." I'm like, I'm probably gonna be mad at myself later, but it is what it is. It's cool. I didn't.
In its place.
Yeah, those. Let's see.
Oh, has this new.
It's probably gonna be take 4. Usually that's how it goes.
I'll do it.
All right. But I have all the other takes. If I need something, I will refer back to those. He said, "You said the cringe face." I don't know what you mean by that.
But before I go, have these developments been helping with the dreams you've been having?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it.
All right.
But before I go,
So that was at the end. So I just picked up the last line, so it must be over here. Yeah, I mean, the affirmation has really been helping work. Yeah, I mean, it's been helping me to stay focused. It's easier to work and everything. Okay, was that the part? Yeah,
Okay.
we got that whole thing.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
All right, and
So has this new routine been beneficial?
yeah, I mean, it's been helping me to stay focused. It's easier to work and everything. All right, we're gonna grab that. Yeah, I mean, all right, and
So has this new routine been?
grab that part. So it's how I like to grab things in and out. Then I'll hit Command C for copy. I prefer doing this over making cuts because to me, making cuts just is too disruptive. And if I want to come back, I hate coming back to this timeline and seeing a bunch of cuts because now it's like, what am I looking at? And I have to decipher between all these cuts if I ever wanted to come back to this and pull something later. And I want to try to keep as much, I want to keep the track as clean as possible and do as much non-destructive editing, which it is non-destructive editing, I know technically, but I like to just do this in this way because I can hit Command C with my in and out points, come over here, and I can just paste it. And we're good.
So has this new routine been beneficial?
Yeah, I mean, all right, so we got that. So boom, no problem there. Come back to where that was the over the shoulder shot, and I didn't have to make any cuts. I prefer doing it that way because I hate this. I hate how this looks. You just come here and everything's all chopped up because you grab this part and you grab that part and then that part, and now you come back and it's like everything looks confusing. Like maybe for some people that wouldn't be a big deal, but for me, I'm like, I don't want this to look like this because I have to come back to it and probably pull things later. So that's why I prefer using in and out and just pulling sections out and pasting it because it does the same thing and it doesn't, and we don't have all these cuts. And I want to come back as clean, you know. And imagine if you did have to have someone else edit for you, coming into that would just be crazy to look at. But yeah. So, anyways, like I said, ran out of time for today. But I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here. So I did get to cover some cool little things that I do, and I'm setting stuff. This is pretty much setting up the project, organization, and some basic things of how I like to edit. The big thing I think for those who are learning editing and learning DaVinci Resolve that you probably would get out of this, obviously you can see someone edit, but also literally looking at what another editor does helps so much. Even if let's say that you've been editing for a long time and you're like, I'm not trying to learn how to edit per se, like get like the techniques and I understand the theory and all that stuff, and maybe you're just trying to look for ways to get faster, and I might be doing something different than what you do. So you can see how it's cool to see how other editors work, even if you are, a pro yourself. But let me check and see if you have any questions or anything. I see we got a lot more people hopping in. We're actually getting ready to end this stream. But thank you for hopping in. I do this weekly. So right now, every Saturday evening, I hop on and stream for about an hour, hour and a half. I am looking to do more. So if you guys want to see more streams, let me know. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them, because I definitely want to have Q&A sections within these streams. So if you have questions, please leave it on this, leave a comment on this video, and let me know, and I will try to answer those questions. I also usually will make a community post throughout the week and say, hey, you have any questions or want me to help you with anything, let me know. And I will literally take your questions and answer them in the stream. You can check the last stream I did that. People asked me some questions. I literally took those questions that they had and I did go back and answer them. So that is what I do. I see we had a comment here from MJB. What time next week? Is usually around 8:30. So 8:30 is when I usually start. So you queue in around that time. I'll make a schedule post too that will show you for sure when I'm starting. But like I said, I started today at about 8:30. That's usually when the time frame I'm starting at. So, but yeah, if you are new here, be sure to subscribe, like it if you like it, and until next time, peace. Have a good night, everybody.